Hey there, and welcome back. It is finally my favorite time of the month where I get to share my monthly restoration blog, and I get to bring you up to date on all the projects that I have going, where you will get to see things that you wouldn't otherwise see or that you would have to wait for the video to come later. So let's walk around and see what's changed. First up, you saw this being worked on last time. This is the Porsche 944 rally car. The rocker panels are now completely fixed. I think this was the good side. Decided because there was a lot of chips on the paint to just quickly paint the hood, the covers on the headlights, this front section. This is all in just a satin black single stage because I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the car. This entire fender, because there was so much repair that had to be done to this section right here, just painted the whole fender. Then of course fixed the rocker panel on this side as well. And since the texture was being redone here on the lower part of this rocker panel, just went ahead and extended that all the way back, so this lower section here is brand new as well. I've been thinking, instead of just painting this thing properly, maybe just do a wrap on it. And if I do a wrap, I probably need to fix some more of this. The roof is not that bad. I think the wrap would cover this. But over here on the driver's side, there is a little bit of a mark there. And then we have some more of that chipping paint over on this side. So I may need to just go ahead and sand the whole car down and at least paint it that flat black before I do a wrap on it. So let me know what you think I should do with this car. I think giving it a fresh look would really be a good addition to it. I've been having so much fun with this car that I think I'm going to keep it, and I've been driving it around for about a week now, so I think most of the problems are fixed, but we'll have to take it to a rallycross to find out for sure. Over here, this is barn sprite number 3, and I really need to sell this car, so I'm probably going to try to move all of the Elva and Barkley stuff that I have up front there out of the way. I can get this out, take some pictures of it, and I'll be listing this car for sale. If you are interested in it, send me an email, thisweekwithcars@gmail.com. And this would make a really nice Christmas gift for yourself, and you would have something that you could toy with this winter and then be driving in the spring. Now that the MGA is drivable, we'll have some new videos of this coming soon. I'm not sure what the next video will be about, but look for another video on this car very soon. I also have ordered some stuff for the Electra, and I'm going to be doing a video on this also very soon, probably within the next 2 weeks. You haven't seen me doing anything with the Land Rover XD in a while, and that's because it had a leaking line for the transmission cooler, and I replaced the line twice, and it didn't solve the problem, so I ended up putting a brand new radiator in here, and now it's all good. So since we have the brand new radiator and this thing is drivable again, I can get back to fixing it and using it, and I hope to be taking this on some adventures soon. There's not a lot going on over here in this section. I do want to get back to the Morris Minor pickup truck, so hopefully this winter we'll be getting that going again, and maybe I'll be driving it this spring. Since the last restoration blog, we did have a video on the Austin pickup truck, and I have not ordered parts for this yet, but again, look for videos on this very soon. On my last off-roading trip with the Pinzgauer, I did rub against trees or something, ended up messing up the rub rail on this side. I have not seen these rub rails for sale in a while, so if anyone knows if anyone still sells the surplus of these rub rails, I would like to purchase 1 or 2 of them. So let me know in the comments below if you know where I can get one of these. I do know that people make plastic versions now, but I would like to keep it original and keep it this wood. On the last blog, I was working on the AC Asica. That's all back together, but the exhaust was not in good shape to begin with and had to be cut to make the modifications to the exhaust manifold. So right now this car is really loud and I need to fix the exhaust before it can be driven. Let's see if it will start up today. You can hear the fuel pump running. So as you can hear, it's pretty loud. The exhaust does only come out on that side, but since the exhaust is not hooked up to the exhaust manifold right now, all the sound is coming from up front. It actually doesn't sound that bad, but I can't drive it this way. I did have the Travelall out for a little bit, was driving it around. It had a fuel leak, and the previous owner had added a fuel filter to it, not in a great spot, and all that was just a mess and it was leaking. So I did take the time to take that all apart, fix it, make it a lot more simple, and do it the correct way. So the Travelall is all ready to go. I did use this on the S'more to More rally the first time I did that. So maybe I'll get that out and use it for that again this year. And then we have the off-road wrecker, and a lot of things have been going on here. The engine is still in place, but I did find a completely rebuilt engine on Facebook Marketplace, so I went and picked that up. So I'll be putting that high performance cam that I got into the new engine, which is freshly rebuilt. I also got this set of split exhaust manifolds for it. And then between that and the new Weber carburetor, I should see a huge increase in horsepower and torque from what I have now. And of course, when it's done, I'll run it on the dyno and we can find out for sure. I did also pick up some NOS drive shafts. This is the front drive shaft, and my original tube had a bunch of dents in it and would have had a lot of vibration rotating around. So I'll swap it with this NOS one. And then I also got an NOS rear drive shaft. This one is complete. And I even managed to get a new NOS jack shaft. So that will replace my original one. And speaking of the drivetrain, I have the transmission and the transfer case out of the truck right now. The bell housing can stay in place. You just unbolt the transmission from it, and then you can either lift it up through the floor. It's not very big, or just take it down. And then you can get the clutch out of the bell housing without removing the bell housing itself. So I have the transmission and the transfer case out at Vintage Power Wagons in Fairfield, Iowa, and they are going through those for me. Here's something I haven't shown before, but I do have a V4 Ford engine, and this is a good core that I can use for my Saab Sonett. If you remember when I did the first video on my Saab Sonett, that engine was completely seized up. This engine is not, so I do have a complete spare engine in case I need to use it. So I can get back on that Saab project and get that running. We might combine the engines, we might use this one, we might free up the old one. Time will tell what happens, but we can get back on that project soon. Here's the Elva project. So if you have seen my recent video on the Elva, I had to remove the head, had a bent push rod. There were some other things going on. This video should be out now. I'll have to pack up all the parts, get the Elva moved out of the way so that we can do another video before we get back to this one. I had ordered some push rods and I had a full head gasket set. I was hoping that was all I was going to need for the Elva, and that would be back ready to roll and to be put on the dyno. But as you might have seen in that video, there was some more issues that I'll have to resolve before this one is finished. Not a lot is going on in this room right now. The brakes are done on the Volkswagen. The weather strip on the back of the BMW needed to be redone, so that's just glued and waiting for it to set right now. Not much has happened on the Tiger, but I did finally get in a set of the original style hypo valve covers that Ford used, and this is what Sunbeam originally used on these engines. So this is the original valve cover for this engine. You can see the Sunbeam badge with the engine number on it, and this is the new valve cover. And it's really important that you don't lose these valve covers or mess them up in any way, so we would not want to re-chrome these. So we want to take the new ones and then put reproduction stickers on them. There were stickers on both sides. This one would have a little tiny Ford sticker stuck to it. You can see it right there on the old valve cover. And then of course I need to make a reproduction engine one for the other valve cover. The new valve covers will go onto the engine, and that way the old valve covers can be kept safe in storage. Because on the Sunbeam Tigers, the only place that the engine number occurs that is recorded also on the VIN tag of the car is on that valve cover. So you definitely do not want to lose the valve cover. It's the only way to prove that you have the correct engine. You could decode the date codes on the castings to see if it makes sense, but the valve covers is the only thing that actually identifies that engine. A little bit of progress has been made on the 106. You can see the center section of the front of the car has been taken off. That's in the paint booth right now. It is now in primer. We can walk in there and I can show you that. And if you remember last time, I cut open that crate and we had all the pieces for a new Bronco body. So the old body is now off the frame. That way all the pieces can be set onto the frame. I did get new motor mounts yesterday, so we can make sure that this lines up exactly and then make sure it's all welded together properly. Here's another pile of the parts right here. This is the old body, and it was so bad that these reinforcements had to be added. Otherwise, this body would just break in half sitting here on this stand. So it made sense in this case to just start with a brand new body instead of trying to fix this one. And then over here, a little bit of progress is being made on the 63 split window Corvette. It's slow going on a car like this. You don't want to go too fast. Definitely don't want to burn through the gel coat if you don't have to. And you can see all the layers of paint that were on this. This is the bare fiberglass here. This is the gel coat. And that's probably the original blue. Then we have a primer and the blue that the car is right now. So this car will obviously be going back to the original blue, but it's going to take some time to do this thing correctly. If we take a look in the booth, this is the center section for the 106. And I don't know how much you can tell on the camera, but it looks kind of pink. And this is a special primer that has a built-in guide code to it. So as you sand it, it's actually going to change color. And you don't have to use an external guide coat. It'll change color as you sand it, and then you can see where your highs and lows are all within one material. So next steps for this are to sand it down and then prime it one more time, and it will be ready for paint. And that's gonna be it for today. So if you wanna see more videos like this, comment below and click subscribe.